Yields back. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Fields, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Acting Ranking Member, and let me thank all the guests who are here today as well. In Louisiana, we've been faced with a different type of fraud. We've had, and it's not just the elderly, it's all ages, where a person or a group of people will send a text message. The most recent was a text message reportedly from the DMV saying you have to, pay a fine, a ticket that happens whenever ago, or you will lose your driving privileges. And they give them a certain time. I have the email here. Actually, they send it by text, but it's from an email. And the Attorney General obviously went to work to try to find out the origin of this bad email. But there were just good people, young, old, all races of life, all walks of life, and many of them were responded. What can we do to figure out where the emails come from? Do we have a system in place to do that? And that's for all of you, because it's hitting our state hard, and it's just paining to hear constituents call and say, should I pay this ticket? I don't remember it, but should I pay it? And then you say it's a scam. What could we do?
I'm happy to take that question because I've gotten the same text message over and over again. So part of it is, as we put in our paper, in our written testimony, we have recommendations that telecommunication companies should do to prevent those types of text messages from hitting consumers. They should do the same thing that banks do of knowing your customer. They should do the exact same thing. As I mentioned, they know when they're trafficking, fraudulent activity. They just don't have the incentives to stop that, which is why we think the FCC and Congress should act to require higher and stiffer penalties. And I know that's outside of this committee. And I think we should not wait for them to act. This committee can also act, and part of that is my recommendation that consumers are also made whole and that they are reimbursed for fraudulently induced payments. We need to have everybody acting to protect consumers.
I'd like to add to that. Thank you for the question. And certainly that particular text message is one we're all familiar with. We spent a lot of time in our task force really talking about the interface between the private sector and law enforcement and their ability to share information with one another about things like this that would create better information for law enforcement to act and better information across the private sector. So that, for example, if someone acting on that text message directed their financial institution to send a payment, the financial institution might have information that helps to disrupt or stop that payment. There are not clear or easy protocols right now for law enforcement and the private sector to be sharing that data. It's a critical element that we'll be talking about more in the forthcoming report. Often, in fact, those things are done manually. We heard tales of stacks and stacks of PDF files with hundreds of pages of raw data. And knowing that what we know about the ways that we have technologically to be able to share that data, it's an issue that I think we can make some real progress on to be able to strengthen everyone's ability to act.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I would say there are two ways that we can address this. I look at this from the consumer angle. One is awareness, and I come back to this a lot. If people have vigilance, we have to tell people that they can no longer trust communications coming from SMS, email, or phone. Anything that comes, they need to go and verify that. They need to stop, breathe, verify. The other thing that I would say is there are solutions in the private sector that can help, that can scan people's emails, texts, and block their phone calls so that these things, they get awareness, they get warnings, or they get blocked before it ever reaches them. And there are interfaces that have AI to be able to battle AI, that they can take these communications, put them in that are trained on millions and millions of scam emails to say, hey, is this a scam or not? So they also need that level of protection. In a world where the scammers have AI, we need consumers to have AI to defend them as well.
I'm out of time, but I would love to hear your response, but I'll yield back to Val.